Hey, you guys, look what just came from UPS. Let's open it. You guys have been tracking along with me. I've been working on this book for a long time. And you know, the day comes, you get a shipment, and there's all that hard work. So if you don't know what this book is about, it's about creativity. And it's tools from seriously talented people to unleash your creative life. How about that? Here's one of the coolest things about this. I've got in this book 11 different interviews with a whole slew of different creatives. This one is one of the most interesting. I mean, they're all really interesting. Chris McCaskill, he's a serial entrepreneur, but he grew up homeless, you guys, on the streets of Oakland, living under bridges, struggling every single day. He made it from being homeless to somehow getting his MBA at Stanford and becoming a serial entrepreneur. Think about that when you run into your own barriers. Nancy Cartwright, she's the voice of Bart Simpson and about 11 other voices on The Simpsons. She also gives us her successful actions for creativity and being a creator. So you guys can take all that advice and all that information and put it into your own life. How about that? At the end of every chapter, there's summarizing questions, which I'd like you to think of me asking you those questions and you answering. And then there's action application steps, because the whole point is not just thinking about this stuff, but putting it into your life. Okay, so here's some more of the things that are in the book. This is the cycle of creativity. You guys have heard about that. It goes like this. So it goes visualization, knowing your tools. You gotta know those tools. Then you work your craft. You gotta get out there and work it. And then you get into the editing phase, and then you share it with others. This is an amazing interview with Chris Burkhart. You've probably seen him on Instagram. You know, he talks about some of the challenges he had to overcome. He also gives it really good advice for being a parent and fostering creativity with your kids. This chapter is about knowing your purpose, because everything begins with that spark of purpose. And I tell a story, my first kind of breakaway moment where I actually had to discover my own purpose. This is an interview from Keith Code, who runs the California Superbike School. He's one of the foremost motorcycle racing trainers. This is a cool guy. And again, you get his take on creativity. Here's one of the things that Keith said. He says, you can't ignore moments of clarity and inspiration. That's the key. Those are the moments that you have to grab, and they're fleeting moments. Wow, that is good advice. And that's why I tell you guys to use your notebook, so you don't just let those fly out the window, but you record them. There's joy in knowing and using your tools. So this chapter's all about that. And also keeping your tools in order, because it doesn't do any good if things are disorganized and messed up. David Campbell, his son is Beck. You've probably heard of Beck. Listen to this guy's credentials. He's worked on over 425 gold and platinum albums. 425. This guy is amazing. So we've got all these different creatives that we've got input from. I've distilled this wisdom for you. You guys can put it into action. I'm pretty stoked about this. The last part of the cycle of creativity is sharing your work. So I gave you a lot of advice of how to get your work out there into the world. There's a lot of different ways to do that, and that's really important, because if you don't put it out into the world, you're not going to ever feel that satisfaction. Making time to create. The number one excuse that people have is, I don't have time. And I completely tear that apart. And I give you tools to actually budget your time. You know how you budget money? You can budget your time. So I actually give you a workout to take your daily schedule and work it into this, so you have a couple hours a day at least to operate as a creative. In the final chapter, I give you tools to handle things that can come your way that can throw you off as a creative. Like, beware of vampires. They're going to get you as a creative. You got to know how to handle them and avoid them. You know those trolls that live under the bridges. And you've got to constantly be learning new things. This is one of my photos from Carmel Beach. This is Chase Jarvis. When you put all this together, what I want you guys to have is a more creative life. Check it out. You're going to hear a lot more about this as weeks go by. Create. So check out the book. Go to my website. You're going to find out a lot more about this. The main thing is I want you guys to read it and put it into action to increase the creativity in your own life. So as you know, I'm going to roll out a whole series of these videos, so remember to subscribe. Please share this video, like it, leave a comment, but most importantly, get out and get your own creativity, capture your own images of life. Nancy Cartwright, the voice of Bart Simpson. Let me get the right page here. You've heard The Simpsons. She's the voice of Bart Simpson. She's the voice of Bart Simpson and like 11 other voices on. she. That's what I'm so stoked about in this book. We'll cut this.